you my best class, or the research class that I did for the Hunter Ranger. Let's jump right into it. And we are here, guys. Yeah. So first off, let me start off with showing what I have equipped. So in my X slot, I have Fox Cunning. The Fox Cunning range ability, with the precise timing of the fox, you and one nearby ally dodge the next incoming attack. And for melee, it's called Fox Shift. Dash to nearby targets, reducing their run speed while increasing your own. Each target can only be hit twice. That's for rank 1. Rank 2, Fox Cunning plus 2 members of your group. And Fox Shift increases your snare and speed bonus. And for rank 3, Fox Cunning affects 2 more members. And for Fox Shift, increases snare and your speed boost. That is my X slot. In my Y slot, I have Hindering Shot. Hindering Shot in the range ability. Fire 2 arrows into your enemy's shins, applying weak grasping roots. This power has 3 charges. Melee Hindering Strike, slash your enemy's ankles, applying strong grasping roots. For rank 2, you get a 10% damage, and for melee, you get 10% damage. And same for rank 3, you get plus 10% more for both. My B slot, I have, I think, Constricting Arrow, maybe? Here, let's see. Yes, I have Constricting Arrow. And this basically, you fire an arrow at your opponent, causing grasping roots to constrict around them and all foes near them. And for the melee, Steel Breeze, spin and slash your blades, damaging your enemies around you and regaining stamina for each enemy hit. For the rank 2, for the range, you gain plus 10%. For melee, you gain 100% stamina. And for the rank 3, you gain plus 10% more. And for the melee, you gain 100% for more stamina. For my LB and X, I forget what it's called. Okay, Slasher's Mark. The rank 1, leap to your target with Slashing Strike, leaving behind the mark. This mark fortifies you and your allies by restoring stamina or guard meter whenever they damage the marked target. The rank 2, you gain 10% damage, 2% stamina, and guard 2%. Rank 3, same thing, 10% damage, 2% stamina gain, and 2% guarding gain. And for my other one is Seismic Shot. This is fire a concussive blast into the ground, causing a shockwave that pulls enemies in and damages them. For the rank 2 is plus 10%, rank 3 is plus 10% more. So yeah, and my right trigger are the basic, well actually my right trigger is Hunter's Teamwork. You spot supplies on the enemy and shoot an arrow at them to mark their location for a long duration. Your marked enemies deal less damage, and if killed, they drop supplies that can be picked up to restore a small amount of action points, stamina, and hit points to everyone on your team. You may only have one target designated at a time. For the melee, you study your target signaling gaps in their defense to your allies. Enemies studied in this way are damaged by this power when they are hurt. Applying this debuff does not build threat, but the damage itself does. Damage effect cannot trigger more than once every 1.5 seconds, and you can only have one target studied at a time. For the rank 2, for range, you gain 10% damage and 10% heal. For the melee, you gain 10% damage and plus 5 seconds debuff. And it's basically the same thing for rank 3. So yeah, my feats, these are my feats. I put plus 3 in Weapon Mastery, increases my critical chance to 3%. Then I put plus 3 in Toughness, increase my maximum hit points to 9%. And then I went 3 in Agile Combatant. After switching stances, deal 3% more damage for 5 seconds. And Disciple of Dexterity. increases the amount of bonus damage. Dexterity gives you by 6%. Swift footwork, your stamina regenerates 10% faster. And also endless assault. Your encounter powers deal 6% more damage. Now guys, this is where I ran into a big problem. I realized you can play the Hunter Ranger in a variety of different ways. And so the variety of different ways, you can play the Hunter Ranger in a variety of different ways, such as the archery, combat, and trapper. And these are known as paragons. If you honestly, and these are known as paragons. The first thing I did was the archery paragon because I figured, okay, well, Hunter Ranger, so why not? Let's spec into the Hunter Ranger feats. So I realized that I wasn't doing that much damage, like in dungeons and PvP. Definitely in PvP, I realized that I sucked so bad at PvP. So I respec. I figured out that apparently the Trapper and the Pathfinder are the best skills to use with a Hunter Ranger. Now, I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm not saying it's essential, but this paragon is probably the best paragon to spec into. So I do 5 into fleet stance. When you switch stances, you gain, well, you move 10% faster for 6 seconds. I did Death Strike. Your melee encounter powers cause your next range encounter powers to deal 10% more damage. Your range encounter powers cause your next melee encounter power to deal 10% more damage. Ancient Roots. Your weak grasping roots now last 2.5 seconds longer. Your strong grasping roots now last 5 seconds longer. This benefit is halved on players. Swiftness of the Fox. Your melee encounter powers shorten the cooldown of your range encounter powers by 15%. Your ranged encounter powers shorten the cooldown of your melee encounter powers by 15%. Serpent's Bite. Your aspect of the Serpent class feature now provides 5% more damage per stack. Additionally, these stacks also provides 2.5% critical chance per stack. Thorned Roots. Your strong grasping roots are upgraded to Thorn Roots. Thorn Roots deal 200% of your weapon damage every second. 250% of your weapon damage is dealt immediately to control immune targets. And also Biting Snares. When you apply grasping roots or Thorn Roots, you gain Biting Snares. Biting Snares cause your next stance to shift your Master Trapper, which generates 20% of your AP, increases your damage by 30%, and increases your control duration by 60% for 10 seconds. This effect can only be triggered once every 10 seconds. And my boons, which I literally just started, at first I spec'd into the 800 hit points, but then I spec'd into power, but I honestly don't know what power truly is used for in a Hunter Ranger. And if you do know, if you could let me know in the comments below, then that'd be great. These are my companions that I use. I use these companions at the moment because that's honestly all I can afford or get, because I don't plan on spending money on this game. So yeah. So I guess these moves or power sets, whatever. So first off, I'm gonna hit my Fox Shift, which is gonna cause Death Strike's melee. And then what I usually do is I use Constricting Arrow to constrict them, and then they have Biting Snares. And then from there I use my what's it called? The Y? What was that one called? Hindering Shot, to do the small grasping arrows. And then I switch over and I press the Fox. As I'm attacking everybody, I press B. And by the time I switch back over, these I guess powers would have cooled down. so I can constantly hit these powers back to back to back to back. So I can switch from melee to range to melee, like back and forth, without having to even shoot my bow one time. So yeah, I'm gonna do y'all another demonstration of my fox. And when I have my seismic, I do a significant amount of damage.
Your team dominates.
Alright guys, well, that about ends it. I think my PvP gameplay says for itself. But yeah, stick around if you want to see some PvE gameplay. I will be uploading some dungeon gameplay soon. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my Hunter Ranger, what I feel is the best build, Pathfinder trapper build. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget, be all American. Peace.